swamp is coming.
You really feel that? You feel so insecure about your Germany today?
Yes.
Is this
Don't trust us.
They were born with the names the world would never forget. Children of men who led one of history's darkest regimes. But when the war ended, their fight was just beginning. What secrets did the children of Nazi leaders hide when they grew up? How were their lives affected by their families' past? This is Through the Ages, where we uncover the dark secrets they don't want you to know. In this video, we'll show you what really happened to the children of Nazi leaders and reveal some shocking truths about the aftermath of World War II. Before we begin, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. We learned through war crimes trials at the end of World War II that most officials in Nazi organizations had no sense of shame or remorse about their barbarous deeds. They either denied their crimes altogether or rationalized whatever moral qualms they may have felt. But what about their families? For some descendants of high-ranking Nazis, the past is an unbearable burden. Some have spent their lives atoning for crimes they never committed, while others have struggled to reconcile their love for their relatives with the horrifying reality of their deeds. The shadow of the Reich is long, and for many, it has dictated the course of their lives. Hermann Göring's great-niece, Bettina Göring, took drastic action to ensure that her family's legacy ended with her. She opted for sterilization so that she would not create another monster nor produce any more Görings. Bettina told the program both she and her brother were voluntarily sterilized. "I had my tubes tied at the age of 30 because I feared I would create another monster. I look like him for a start. The eyes, the cheekbone, the profile. I look more like him than his own daughter," she said. The weight of her uncle's atrocities shaped her entire worldview. She ran away from home at 13, lived on a commune in India, and later moved to the United States. Her struggle with inherited guilt was documented in Bloodlines, a film directed by Cynthia Conop. In it, Bettina spends time with Ruth Rich, the daughter of Holocaust survivors, confronting the fear that evil could be embedded in her very DNA. Hitler's half-nephew, William Patrick Hitler, grew up in England before moving to the United States, where he lived under a different name. He and his 3 sons reportedly made a pact never to marry or have children, ensuring that the Hitler bloodline would end with them. Martin Adolf Bormann, son of Hitler's private secretary, took a different path. Despite being the namesake of one of Hitler's most loyal followers, Martin became a Roman Catholic priest in 1953. However, he later left the priesthood and dedicated his life to educating people about the horrors of the Third Reich. Matthias Göring, another relative of Hermann Göring, remembers how anti-Semitic beliefs were casually reinforced in his household. When times were hard, our parents would say to us, "You can't have that, because all our money's gone to the Jews." He has since made it his mission to publicly denounce his family's past and to support Jewish communities. Nicholas Frank, son of Hans Frank, the so-called governor of the largest slaughterhouse in history, never allowed himself to forget his father's crimes. He kept a photograph of his father's corpse in his wallet, a gruesome reminder of what he was descended from. Growing up in post-war Germany, suddenly we were the family of a mass murderer, and no money was left, and no castle was left, and suddenly we were very poor, at which point I really admired my mother. The family were plunged into poverty, having been at the pinnacle of the Nazi government in Poland. Now, Nicholas Frank's mother, who was previously the self-described Queen of Poland, was thrown to the bottom of German society and had to make a way through life for the family. And she succeeded in doing so, despite great adversity. Surprisingly, it was wonderful to grow up as the son of a criminal who was a big Nazi in the New Germany. It was really great when they, former Nazis, found out that I was the son of the innocent Hans Frank. They always gave me money, or they gave me some meals also, so it was really positive to grow up as the son of this mass murderer. Each night, he would execute his parents in his mind, attempting to rid himself of their influence. In his book, In the Shadow of the Reich, he meticulously dissects his father's transformation from a sentimental nationalist to a ruthless exterminator. Nicholas has described his father as a sweet-talking slime hole of a Hitler fanatic and has spent his entire life condemning him. The psychological burden of his lineage never left him. Even decades later, he confessed, "There has never been a day in my life when you didn't pop up inside my brain with that little piggy bat snout of yours." Katrin Himmler, great niece of Heinrich Himmler, described the difficulty of carrying such a name. "It's a very heavy burden having someone like that in the family, so close. It's something that just keeps hanging over you." She wrote, "The Himmler Brothers, a German family history to expose the truth about her family, saying, 'I did my best to distance myself from it and to confront it critically.' Her way of confronting the past was to marry an Israeli man whose family had been confined to the Warsaw Ghetto, an act of personal and historical reconciliation. Brigitte Höss, daughter of Rudolf Höss, the first commandant of Auschwitz, spent 40 years keeping her family's identity a secret. She moved to the United States, where she became a fashion model for Balenciaga. At the age of 80, as she faced terminal cancer, she finally spoke publicly about her fears that her past would be uncovered. Rainer Höss, grandson of Rudolf Höss, has dedicated his life to confronting the crimes of his grandfather. He grew up in a family that remained sympathetic to Nazi ideology, and his father refused to abandon those beliefs. Rainer severed ties with his father and now lectures about the horrors of the Holocaust. He has even tattooed a Star of David and the Auschwitz prisoner numbers of several inmates onto his body as a permanent statement of his rejection of his family's past. Not all descendants have chosen to confront the truth. Some continue to whitewash their family's history, either through denial or outright support. Adolf Eichmann's son, Ricardo Francisco Eichmann, has acknowledged that his father's lack of remorse made it difficult for the family. But not all members of the Eichmann lineage see it that way. Eichmann's daughter-in-law, Carmen Breton Lindemann, claimed on television, "The history that you know is not the real one. The TV that you know from movies and books is written by the Jews, and all the world accepts that history." She referred to Eichmann as "Grandpa," continuing to defend him despite the overwhelming evidence of his role in the Holocaust. Gudrun Burwitz, Heinrich Himmler's daughter, spent her life as a leading figure in far-right circles. She worked for Silent Help, an organization dedicated to supporting aging Nazis, including war criminals like Erich Priebke and Klaus Barbie. She never renounced her father and instead worked to assist his ideological descendants. Wolf Rudiger Hess, son of Rudolf Hess, dedicated his life to clearing his father's name, despite overwhelming historical evidence of his crimes. He proudly told his father in prison that his second grandchild had been born on Hitler's birthday. Fanny Fritsch, widow of Auschwitz Commandant Karl Fritsch, simply denied everything. In her view, the horrors of Auschwitz were nothing more than fiction. According to her, nobody died at Auschwitz. Ruth Irene Calder, longtime mistress of Eamon Goeth, the sadistic SS officer portrayed in Schindler's List, spoke nostalgically about her relationship with him. "It was a wonderful time. We enjoyed each other's company. My Eamon was king. I was his queen." She dismissed the suffering of his victims, saying, "They weren't people like us. They were so filthy." she later took her own life, leaving behind no regrets for the crimes of the man she adored. In 2011, the documentary Hitler's Children explored the lives of 5 descendants of high-ranking Nazis. Bettina Göring, Nicholas Frank, Monika Goethe, daughter of Ruth Irene Calder, and Katrin Himmler wrestled with their complex relationships to their family histories. In the final scene, Nicholas Frank asks his daughter whether she feels ashamed of her grandfather's crimes. She responds, "No. You've defeated him for me. You are my fortress." This single sentence encapsulates what many descendants of Nazis struggle with: the idea that they must actively fight against the darkness of their lineage. Some have devoted their lives to exposing the horrors of the past, ensuring that history is not forgotten. Others have attempted to erase or rewrite the past, clinging to an ideology that should have died in 1945. The question remains, what does it mean to be the child of a monster? For some, it means dedicating their lives to atonement. For others, it means pretending that the crimes never happened. And for a select few, it means carrying a weight they never asked for, but cannot put down.